If you want to know the single most dangerous thing happening inside your body right now, it isn't a virus, and it isn't even the sugar you ate for breakfast. It is a silent, invisible accumulation of cellular trash that your body has forgotten how to throw away. Right now, at this very second, you have billions of cells that are filled with broken proteins, damaged organelles, and misfolded DNA. These are what we call zombie cells, or senescent cells. They aren't dead, but they aren't functioning. They are sitting there, rotting from the inside, occupying space, and spewing out inflammatory chemicals that turn their healthy neighbors into cancer cells. Most people think cancer is just bad luck, a roll of the genetic dice. But after 20 years in emergency medicine and studying the metabolism of cancer, I've seen a different pattern. The patients who stay healthy, the ones who defy the odds and live into their 90s without disease, are the ones whose bodies still know how to clean house. There is a biological process, a Nobel Prize-winning discovery, that literally allows your cells to eat their own damaged parts and recycle them into new, fresh energy. It is the most powerful anti-cancer mechanism in nature. It is the reason humans survived for thousands of years without supermarkets and refrigerators. But here is the tragedy. For 99% of people watching this video, this process is completely turned off. It has been dormant for decades. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to flip the switch on a process called autophagy. We will cover the specific timeline required to activate it, the specific foods that mimic fasting to trigger it without starvation, and the critical mistakes people make that shut it down instantly. To understand why cancer starts and why this process is the key to stopping it, you have to understand what a cell looks like when it gets old. Imagine a house where nobody ever takes out the trash. For a week, it's fine. For a month, it smells. But after 20 or 30 years, you can't walk through the hallways. The plumbing is clogged with sludge. The electrical wires are fraying. That house is a fire hazard. This is your cell as you age. The trash isn't plastic bags. It is misfolded proteins like amyloid plaques and damaged mitochondria, the energy factories we talked about in my last video. When a cell gets too full of this trash, it becomes genetically unstable. It forgets its job, and an unstable, confused cell is the seed of cancer. Nature has a solution. It's called autophagy. The word comes from Greek. Auto means self, and phagy means eating. Self-eating. In 2016, a Japanese scientist named Yoshinori Ohsumi won the Nobel Prize for mapping this out. He discovered that when a cell is put under specific types of stress, specifically nutrient deprivation, it creates these tiny double-membraned sacs called autophagosomes. Think of these as internal garbage trucks. These trucks drive around the cell, scoop up the broken mitochondria, the viruses, the protein clumps, and they drive them to a recycling center called the lysosome. Inside the lysosome, powerful enzymes dissolve that trash and turn it back into raw materials, amino acids, and fatty acids that your body uses to build brand new, healthy cellular structures. It is the ultimate recycling program. Here is why this matters for cancer. Cancer cells are often masters of avoiding death. But autophagy does two things. First, prevention. It cleans up the genomic damage before a mutation can take hold. It literally digests the broken DNA before it can replicate. Second, suppression. If a cell becomes too damaged, autophagy can push it toward apoptosis, or programmed cell death. It's the body's way of saying, this cell is too dangerous to keep alive, recycle it. But here is the catch. And this is the part most doctors won't explain to you because they focus on treating disease, not optimizing health. Autophagy and growth cannot happen at the same time. This is a biological law. Your body has two main switches. Switch A is mTOR, the mammalian target of rapamycin. This is the growth switch. When you eat protein, when you eat sugar, when insulin is high, mTOR is on. You are building, growing, dividing. This is great when you are a baby or a bodybuilder, but when you are over 40, excessive growth signaling is dangerous because it accelerates cancer. Switch B is AMPK. This is the repair switch. When energy is low, when you are fasting, when nutrients are scarce, AMPK turns on. You cannot have both switches on at once. It is physically impossible. In our modern world, where we eat breakfast, a snack, lunch, a snack, dinner, and a bedtime snack, we are constantly stuck with the growth switch jammed open. We are constantly building, never cleaning. We have shut down our cellular janitors for decades. So, how do we turn the repair switch back on? The most direct way to trigger autophagy is the absence of food. But you don't need to starve yourself for weeks. You just need to understand the clock. Let me break down the timeline of what happens to your cancer risk when you stop eating for a specific period. This is the physiology of fasting, hour by hour. Let's start with hours 0 to 4, the fed state. You've just eaten. Insulin is high. mTOR is active. Your body is processing glucose. Zero autophagy is happening here. Your body is busy sorting the new groceries you just brought in. It has no time to clean the kitchen. Then we move to hours 4 to 12. This is the danger zone where most people fail. At this point, your blood sugar is normalizing, but you still have plenty of stored sugar in your liver called glycogen. You might feel hungry here, but it's not true hunger. It's ghrelin, the hunger hormone, spiking because it expects you to eat. If you eat a snack here, you reset the clock to 0. You turn mTOR back on, and the cleaning crew goes home. But if you push through, you hit hours 12 to 14. This is the metabolic switch. This is the magic window. At 12 hours, your insulin levels drop to baseline. Your body runs out of easy sugar in your blood and starts looking for stored energy. We start to see a slight uptick in growth hormone, which protects your muscles, and norepinephrine, which keeps you alert. Then we hit hours 16 to 18. This is the autophagy zone. This is the sweet spot. We call this time-restricted eating, or 16-8. Once you cross the 16-hour mark without calories, your glycogen or stored sugar is depleted. Your cells sense a nutrient deprivation crisis. The AMPK switch flips on. The garbage trucks start their engines. A study published in the journal Autophagy showed that even short-term fasting can upregulate the clearance of protein aggregates in neuronal cells. This means your brain is literally cleaning out the plaques associated with Alzheimer's. Your liver is clearing out fatty deposits. Precancerous cells are being identified and dismantled. If you go a full 24 hours from dinner to dinner, the level of autophagy increases by roughly 300%. This is where you get deep cellular scrubbing. And if you go even longer, to 48 hours, something remarkable happens called the immune reset. Research from Dr. Walter Longo at USC showed that prolonged fasting can lower white blood cell counts and then, upon refeeding, trigger the stem cells in your bone marrow to regenerate a completely new, youthful immune system. It's like rebooting your computer. But for cancer prevention and longevity, you don't need to do 48 hours. The protocol I recommend to patients is a daily 16-8 schedule. You eat all your meals within an 8-hour window, say 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. For the other 16 hours, you are consuming only water, black coffee, or tea. Why 16 hours? Because it allows your body to cycle between growth, which you need, and repair, which you are missing. It gives the janitors a shift to work every single night. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can't fast. I get headaches. I get hungry. That's okay. Because nature has given us autophagy mimetics, foods that trick your body into thinking it's fasting, even when you're eating. We have identified specific compounds in nature that can chemically flip the AMPK switch and induce autophagy, even without a 16-hour fast. If you combine these with the fasting schedule, the results are exponential. The first food is coffee. This is good news for coffee drinkers, but it has to be the right kind. A study specifically looked at coffee, both caffeinated and decaffeinated, and found that it triggered autophagy in liver, muscle, and heart tissue within 1 to 4 hours of consumption. The magic isn't just the caffeine, it's the polyphenols, specifically chlorogenic acid. These compounds create a mild stress signal in the cell that forces it to clean up. The dose is 2 to 3 cups of black organic coffee. But here is the mistake. Do not add milk, cream, or sugar. The moment you add protein from milk or carbs from sugar, you spike insulin, turn on mTOR, and stop autophagy instantly. Even artificial sweeteners are a problem. Some studies suggest that the sweet taste alone can trigger an insulin response in the brain, which might be enough to dampen autophagy. Stick to black coffee. It enhances the fast. Milky coffee breaks it. The second compound is something you're going to hear a lot about in the next few years, called spermidine. It was named because it was first discovered in reproductive fluids, but thankfully it's found in high concentrations in food. Spermidine works by inhibiting an enzyme called acetyltransferase, which directly unlocks the genetic machinery for autophagy. It keeps your DNA tightly wrapped and protected. You can get it from wheat germ, which has the highest concentration. You can sprinkle raw wheat germ on salads or yogurt during your eating window. It is also found in aged cheddar cheese, where the fermentation process creates spermidine, as well as mushrooms, specifically shiitake and green peas. Research suggests about 1 milligram to 5 milligrams daily creates a protective effect. That's about 2 tablespoons of wheat germ. The third mimetic is Earl Grey tea, specifically because of the bergamot. We've talked about green tea and EGCG in previous videos, and yes, green tea is fantastic for this. But specifically for autophagy, I want to highlight bergamot. Bergamot is the citrus fruit that gives Earl Grey tea its distinctive smell. The oil contains specific limonoids that stimulate autophagy in skin and breast cancer cells in laboratory settings. Sipping Earl Grey tea during your fasting window is an excellent way to suppress appetite while stacking another autophagy trigger on top of your fast. The fourth major mimetic is curcumin, the active compound in turmeric. Curcumin is one of the most studied anti-cancer compounds on Earth. It works by suppressing the mTOR pathway directly. Remember, mTOR is the growth switch. By suppressing it, curcumin naturally allows AMPK to take over. However, curcumin is very poorly absorbed on its own. If you just eat turmeric powder, you absorb almost none of it. You must combine it with piperine, found in black pepper, which increases absorption by 2,000%, and a healthy fat like olive oil. A curry made with turmeric, black pepper, and coconut milk is an autophagy-boosting meal. The fifth, and perhaps most accessible food, is extra virgin olive oil. It contains a compound called oleuropein. Studies show that oleuropein induces autophagy and decreases the aggregation of proteins found in neurodegenerative diseases. It essentially lubricates the cleaning machinery. 1 to 2 tablespoons of high-quality, cold-pressed olive oil on your salads or vegetables acts as a signal to your body to repair cell membranes. This is why the Mediterranean diet is so linked to longevity. They are consuming autophagy triggers every single day. Food and fasting are chemical triggers, but we can also use physical triggers. Remember, autophagy is a survival mechanism. It kicks in when the body thinks things are getting tough and we need to be efficient. One powerful physical trigger is heat shock, specifically using a sauna. Using a sauna at 170 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes increases the production of heat shock proteins. These proteins act like chaperones. They go around the cell, find misfolded proteins, the trash, and guide them to the recycling center. A landmark study from Finland followed 2,000 men for 20 years. Those who used the sauna 4 to 7 times a week had a 40% lower mortality rate from all causes. 40%. That is a pharmaceutical-level benefit from sitting in a hot room. Another trigger is high-intensity exercise. We talked about this for mitochondria, but it applies here too. When you exercise until you are out of breath, you deplete the energy in your muscles quickly. This activates AMPK immediately. The absolute best way to deep clean your cells is to exercise at the end of your fast. Imagine this. You haven't eaten for 15 hours. Your glycogen is low. You go for a brisk 20-minute walk or light jog. Your body has no choice but to aggressively turn on autophagy to find energy. You are literally burning up the cellular trash for fuel. I want to touch on a very specific application of fasting that relates to cancer treatment, because this is where the science gets truly fascinating. It's called differential stress resistance. When you fast, your healthy cells go into a protective mode. They hunker down, they slow down division, and they focus on repair. They shield themselves. But cancer cells, by definition, have broken regulatory mechanisms. They cannot stop growing. They cannot hunker down. So, when you fast, cancer cells continue to try to grow, but without fuel, they become incredibly stressed and weak. This is why some oncologists are now experimenting with fasted chemotherapy. The fasting protects the healthy cells, reducing side effects like nausea and hair loss, while simultaneously making the cancer cells more vulnerable to the chemotherapy drugs. It's a 1-2 punch. Of course, this must only be done under strict medical supervision, but the mechanism is profound. However, I need to address the elephant in the room. And this is where internet advice can be dangerous. While autophagy is powerful for prevention and for early-stage disease, there is a time when you must not aggressively fast. If you are a patient who is already undergoing cancer treatment and you are experiencing cachexia, that is rapid muscle wasting and weight loss, prolonged fasting can be dangerous. When you have lost too much weight, your body doesn't have the reserves to handle the stress of fasting. In this state, the cancer is stealing all your energy, and restricting healthy protein can accelerate muscle loss. If this is you, do not start a fasting protocol without your oncologist's supervision. Instead, focus on the autophagy mimetics we discussed: the coffee, the olive oil, the turmeric. These can give you some of the signaling benefits without the calorie restriction that might weaken you. Let's also talk about what breaks a fast, because I see so much confusion in the comments. The rule is simple. Anything that spikes insulin or activates mTOR stops autophagy. Does lemon water break a fast? Generally, no. A squeeze of lemon has negligible calories and doesn't spike insulin. In fact, the citric acid can help manage blood sugar. Does bone broth break a fast? Yes. Bone broth contains protein and amino acids. While it's very healthy, those amino acids tell your body, we have food, which turns on mTOR and turns off the deep cleaning. Save bone broth for your eating window. Do branched-chain amino acids, or BCAAs, break a fast? Absolutely yes. Leucine, one of the main BCAAs, is the most potent trigger for mTOR that exists. Taking BCAAs before a gym workout stops autophagy immediately. But for everyone else, for the millions of people walking around with dormant cancer cells, with inflammation, with brain fog, you have a tool right now that costs nothing. You don't need a prescription. You don't need a gym membership. You just need the discipline to close your eating window. Every hour you spend in a fasted state is an hour your body spends hunting down weak cells and removing them. You are not helpless against genetics. You are not helpless against aging. The machinery to repair your body is already inside you. It is waiting for you to flip the switch. Start with 12 hours. That's just stopping eating after dinner and not eating until breakfast. Then push it to 14. Maybe you skip the late-night snack and push breakfast an hour later. Then aim for 16. Add the black coffee. Add the exercise. Do it consistently, not perfectly, but consistently. If you mess up one day and have a big breakfast, don't quit. Just get back on the schedule the next day. Your body is forgiving, but it needs rhythm. It needs to know that the cleaning crew is coming. And remember, this isn't just about cancer. This is about your brain. The same autophagy process that clears cancer cells also clears the beta-amyloid plaques and tau tangles associated with Alzheimer's disease. We now know that Alzheimer's is largely a metabolic disease, often called type 3 diabetes. When the brain becomes insulin resistant, it can't clean itself. Fasting restores insulin sensitivity. It allows the brain to switch fuel sources to ketones, which burn cleaner than sugar, and it allows the glymphatic system, the brain's waste clearance system, to work effectively. By fasting for your body, you are saving your mind. If you found this information valuable, I need you to do something. Share this video with someone who needs it. A parent, a spouse, a friend. Cancer will affect 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women in their lifetime. The information in this video could save a life. Also, check out my next video where I break down the specific foods that actually increase cancer risk, the ones hiding in plain sight that most people eat every day without realizing the danger. I'll see you in the next one. Dr. Becker out.